Hi, welcome back to Box Delights. Today we're casting our minds back to an older game, one that I designed, but also looking a little bit forward because we're going to refresh your memory all about this game and the fact that it did exist, and talk a little bit about what could be coming. I say could, I don't have a date yet, but it's been on the cards for, I don't know, the last 4 years. But we've got a rename. You may have heard talk of Deckers, so that's working title. This is the Renegade Remaster, and I'm going to do a little playthrough just to remind you what the game's about and perhaps look at some of the new rules. And we're going to look at one of the new characters. She's called Leiko Mori. Leiko is a new purple Renegade or Decker, and she brings her own new special ability. She's counterpart to Rupert Stans, so we'll learn a little bit more about her. I'm not going to go into details on the rules, but I will highlight some of the updates to the rules. We're going to play Viking, and we're going to play Viking 2.0. So there's an upgrade card, 2.0, that you can place on top of any existing SMC just to upgrade it slightly. Viking has 1 copper, 1 silver, 1 gold, but 2.0 adds a gold, and that gold has to be one of the new countermeasure cards called Mother's Ghosts. I've got one printed out prototype here to illustrate that. 2.0 adds 1 star of difficulty, but in the remaster, in Deckers, all the SMCs have been downgraded by 1. So the Sim is now a 0, Alpha Moby is 1, Spiders 2, Viking is 3. 2.0 will add 1, so Viking comes back to a 4, and that's more significant in remaster because we now have an additional victory condition. Our aim is to have as many installations on the network as the number of stars of the SMC multiplied by the number of players. So playing solo, I'll need 4 installations for Viking 2.0. Right, that's my objective, survive to the end and install 4 installations. So the idea is that we've got to hack the network and place 4 installations, okay, without Mother's SMC Viking kicking us off. Right, I've randomly drawn 1 copper, 1 silver, 1 gold. We've got Access Denied, Dreams of Salvation, Deception, Backlash. So these cards have had some tweaks because why not? When we start developing, we start developing. Right, so Leiko has a purple deck and of 5 cards. The rulebook's had a rewrite thanks to Tyler Allender for doing that for us. Very much smaller. A lot of the jargon has been stripped away. You could ignore it anyway. So this is a tip. If you've got the original version and you're struggling with the jargon, just ignore it and look at the symbols, right? Red circle, blue square, that stuff. I think that's one point people miss. They get blinded by the jargon. Just don't be blinded by it. Just don't look at it. Okay, just use the colours instead. But if you like the jargon like I do, then get stuck in. Now, Viking's going to be tough. I've chosen Viking for a reason. Viking likes to place Guardians, the black squares. So we're going to see a few of them, and they've got slightly different rules. Okay, so those spark explosions, the rules have changed and very much simplified, but it does make the game a little tougher. Right, let's create the network. So we'll give them a shuffle and we'll get set up. Starting with yellow. Purple. I want to put Leiko's kind of central if I can. That's not a great draw. Let's go here. And then the last one is blue. Yeah, we're going to go here, but that didn't work out great for Viking. It's quite an open network, but that's all right. That's all right. We'll see how this plays out. I don't have a standee for Leiko, so we're just going to use the Rupert standee. Now Leiko, because of her versatility, she gets to choose which colour she wants to start with, red, blue, yellow or green. So which type of contaminant. I'm going to start with a blue, I think. So a data node, and we get 4 data nodes because we're playing solo for every server that's unoccupied. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's check Viking's instantiation. So add 1 spark, the black circles, to each odd-numbered partition on Faith. And then to each open partition, those ones around the edge, that are odd numbered. So quite a few again on Faith. And this is where setup is part of the game, really. I think I missed that one. Yep, there we go. Now we get to decide where we want to place our starting data nodes. I'm going to place them on Faith, 1, 2, 3, 4, because I've had a little sneaky peek and we're playing Access Denied, followed by Dreams of Salvation, followed by Deception Backlash, and then Mother's Ghost. So Mother's Ghost is always the last, and there's going to be different flavours of Mother's Ghost. There's going to be 4 different ones. I won't spoil them for you, but this one's called Tsunami. Okay. So again, another change that 2.0 adds is this final countermeasure, which is a binary win-lose. Okay. The Tsunami at the end of 2.0, Mother's Ghost, is a binary win-loss condition. Here it is, this 2.0 mod, and we can prepare for it. And being able to have a view of the countermeasures that are coming up also means you're better prepared. You can see the whole picture in front of you. So this Mother's Ghost is like an endgame boss, like in a computer game, right? At the end of the level, you get a boss, that kind of thing. So you have a big boss fight. We'll see that, hopefully, if we get that far. Remember, we lose if we run out of Sparks or Guardians, the black tokens. Now we'll set up the market, which is now our upgrade deck. So these are upgrades. This is a deck building game after all. And there is a new expansion which adds a bunch of these to give us the final card count of 54 cards. I've printed one off for you. This is Ping Nexus, for example. So it's a mixed colour. You pay red and yellow and you get 1 purple. So you can kind of get more deck building options. This one lets you either add a wild to an action, and it's got an interrupt, so you can play it on other people's turns, or you can tear down an installation and get those components back. So if you wanted to tear down a yellow square and get some yellow tokens back because you've run out, you want to get some more viruses on the network, you can play Ping Nexus to tear that down, replace it with these. Right. So more versatility. You'll see more versatility, mixed coloured cards in this new expansion. Right, but I'm not playing with those today. Right. There's been some streamlining as well, so some superfluous rules have just been taken away, just things that I felt were adding layers of complication where they didn't need to. So for example, the fact that you skip adding sparks on your first turn is a rule to forget and a rule to misplay, so I've just taken the rule out. So there we go. Right, so Viking is going to add 1 spark during copper, and it's going to green 5. Green 5 is up here. Right, access denied. We need blue tokens on partitions 1 to 4, and then we on purple, and then we need 2 on partition number 1. Right, so our setup, we've already got a considerable way towards access denied, but that's what our intel did. It told us what was coming up, helped us out. Okay, let's have a look and see what we're going to do. Now, just before we get going, there's one additional step that 2.0 adds. It's optional, and I wasn't going to use it, but I think I will. We can choose to add the packet tokens. If we want to, we can add these new packet tokens. They're part of the expansion. I don't know whether they'll be included in the remaster or not, but they were in one of the expansions upcoming before Victory Point Games got took over. So here they are. There's 10 of them. Whether you choose to add them or not depends on whether you think they're going to benefit you or not. So, final step before we get going, decide whether to add the packet tokens. Let's add them. So they go on partitions 2 and 5 on every server. You just mix them all up, place them face up, okay, on each partition. 2 and 5. And the all-important home server. If you end an action on a partition that contains a packet token, you must pick it up, and they each do different things. There's a bunch of reference cards that tell you what they do, and it depends which cycle you're in. Some of them do different things, whether you're on copper, silver, or gold. Some don't, okay? But we'll see that as we get going. We should be careful of these ones, these little bombs. They add a spark to the partition, and they're like little traps. So during copper, immediately place one spark on the partition. In gold, they add a flare. So we've got to look out for that, and that's a white token. The downsides to these things are that any partition that doesn't have a spark on it will get a spark. So these are going to add quite a few sparks. So it's a consideration when you're setting up. It's going to make my job a little bit harder. All right, let's get cracking then. We've rolled for sparks already. Green 5 is where it went. Okay, it was just the one, isn't it? Yeah, just the one. At this stage, our objective is to get data nodes here, 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 here. So that's these blue tokens, and 2 here. So we've got all the data nodes we need. The problem is there's all these sparks that are going to kill them before we get to complete the level. So that's our job, basically, get rid of those sparks. Right, well, let's start with some upgrades. Remember, your hand plus the market is basically what you've got to play with. So always look at the this market as an extension to your hand. Let's start by throwing Infiltrate, getting an EMP. Incidentally, if you pay for a card, discard an advanced command card for a card in the market, that advanced command card goes back in the market rather than out the game. Basic cards, they go out of the game. So that's a new rule, just to keep that deck recycling. Let's use these cards, yellow, yellow, yellow. Upload a yellow. I'm going to do the same thing again. So we've got yellow, yellow, yellow. Upload another yellow. We'll hold on to this card, draw 5 cards. Now we've got to be careful because Viking is dangerous. Very dangerous. Let's see where they go. So refill the market. Okay, self-modifying inhibitor is good. Probably won't get it because we spent our yellow cards. Right, let's roll for new sparks. It's called spawning phase. So blue 4. Vikings unchanged. If they spawn next to a partition that contains a spark, they'll go towards the highest. So here they're clumping up over here. And this is where Viking loves creating guardians, and we've got to do something about that. So let's start with a quick upgrade from the market. We'll take data shift. Now we could switch for vulnerability scanner if we wanted to go from blue to green. You can always overpay, so I could keep my 2 blues and toss a yellow, or even toss a green. I could overpay like this. Get rid of focus, pay for the card with decrypt, take vulnerability scanner, but I'm not that bothered about it. I might be interested in self-modifying inhibitor though. This one I am interested in. So why don't we pay interrupt and black hat. We'll discard interrupt and grab self-modifying inhibitor. Then I'm going to use the blue of decrypt for its 2 movement. So we can move 2. We've got a pathway set up here. So we've initiated movement. I'm just going to move these 2 down here. Okay, because I can move back and forth like this. I'm going to use 1 movement, take that over here. That's 1 down. I've got 1 movement left. I don't actually want to use it. Instead, I'm going to play this card, self-modifying inhibitor for its execute effect. Delete a spark on our partition and replace it with one yellow. So we'll get rid of this one, replace it with a yellow. I need to do something about these now, so I'm going to play 2 movement. I'm going to move down here, we're going to bring this yellow with us. That'll do. Now, modifiers got to change. Apart from spark explosions, which we'll look at when we come to, the biggest change to the rules is on modify action. So modify is the same, you need more yellow than black here. But when you modified before, you simply removed, so you play a card, let's say yellow and red. Okay, we'll use purple as yellow. You removed the spark and replaced it with a red. Okay, that was the extra colour. But this time, we've added a significant cost to modify, which is you have to remove a black and a yellow when you do a modify. So that's the additional cost. Now, every time you do a modify, you have to remove one of the yellows you did the modify with, then replace. Okay, so let's do that. And I'd really like to put another yellow back as it goes. So I'm going to play modify. We've got more yellows than there are blacks. I could just play this card actually, turn that into a red, but 3 commands are wild. In first edition there was 3 cards wild, but now it's 3 commands. So I could play these 3 commands as a wild, so it effectively becomes 2 wild, which I can treat as yellow and yellow. So let's do that. So we're going to modify. So although modifiers got harder, things like this, there are compensations. All right, so there's some balancing that's gone on. Modify action is one of them. So we'll remove a black and a yellow, and we'll replace it with a yellow. All right, cool. That's modify, and that's our hand. Okay, Piper comes out. Override interrupt comes out. Let's roll for sparks. Red 4. Red 4 is here. So again, they're going to push that to the 5 because it's Viking. And we're almost there. We've got to get rid of these 2 sparks, otherwise we've lost. So another modifier would be good. Before we do, let's get rid of Renegade Apprentice and take Overwrite Interrupt, which adds 2 to an infection. First off, I'm going to do a modifier here, and I'm going to use Memory Steal. And we're going to use that as a wild as yellow, so yellow and green. Release these 2. Turn that into a green. Then I'm going to use Data Scan for 2 move. And I'm going to move, and I'm going to take this green with me. I'm going to move here, that's free. 1 movement, drop that green here. Move back, that costs 1 more movement. I'm still moving, but I'm out of movement points, so I'm just going to move all the way around here with my yellows. Now I've ended my turn, ended my action here with this packet token. It is an exploit. So I pick this up, place it in my player area. This packet is useful. I can choose to use it whenever I wish. Any 1 card played for its command points during any action in your turn produces an additional 3 wild. Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to use that now. I'm going to use bypass, and I'm going to spend this exploit. So this now becomes a green plus 3 purple. Right, 3 wild. It's a bit mad, but there you go. That's what we're doing. That goes back to the supply for now. And bypass we're going to use to shift. So it's 1 green plus other 3, that's 4 green effectively. Now I can shift. In version 1, in original Renegade, you had to do remote shifting, you had to have a green on your partition and then a green on the partition you're shifting from. That extra requirement's been removed. So remote shifting, greens have become a little bit more powerful, yellow's a little less powerful, but there you go. So remote shifting just means you can remote shift to any network with a green on it. It doesn't matter whether you've got a green on yours or not. Okay, so that's those little circular things there, uplinks. So this little uplink over here means we can shift from that partition. That's the only action you can do is shift. All right, so I'm going to shift for 1. I'm going to shift that over there. I'm going to shift for 2 and shift this green over here. You can do that. You can shift the uplink itself. Third shift, I'm going to move that one. I've got one more shift left, and I'm just going to move it back onto this pathway. That's my 4 shifts done. Right, I just wanted to spread those sparks out a little bit. I don't want them clumping up too much. And then lastly, to take care of this one here, I'm going to use a black hat and overwrite interrupt as a yellow and a red. We'll do a modify. We'll remove a black and a yellow. We'll turn that into a red. Job done. Okay, that's the end of copper. So we'll look at access denied is complete and successful. Success means we get out a blue square, which is data port, and 1 virus. So red circle anywhere on faith. So I'm going to add it here, and I'm going to put 1 over there, data port over there. Now we do the moves. So the move arrows, blue up, so lowest up on blue. So just 1 goes to 2. Then green, lowest is 1, that goes to 2. I've seen a lot of people do this wrong and they move everything. Well, you know, that doesn't do anything because everything just cycles around. Yellow, the lowest up, so the 1 on 2 goes to 3. The idea is these are starting to clump up again. And then red, lowest is 1 onto 2. That's it. We've completed the first countermeasure access denied successfully. Job done. There's no points in this new version, so don't worry about points. If you want to count points, you can count points as the old rules, but a lot of people, for some reason, thought it was a beat your own score game. It's not, so I've taken the points out because you don't need them, so it was a distraction. Again, streamlining, so we've taken the rules out, the points out, streamlines away. All right, that's it. We've completed copper. Let's refresh. So to refresh, we refresh the Hack Shack. We shuffle those up. Again, they're not out of the game. I just stick them on the bottom. Down they go. So the advanced command cards all stay in the game. We've got a hand of 15 cards, or a deck of 15 cards. That remains a deck of 15 throughout the game. We shuffle this back up. Draw 5 cards, ready for the next round, which is Dreams of Salvation. So, Intel phase, let's have a look. Dreams of Salvation says we need a neural hub, a green square, on Salvation. Okay, so somewhere on here, or on a partition adjacent to Salvation. So one of these 3 would be good as well. Okay, somewhere like there would be fine. However, the server die now, we don't roll it. This is always going to be red. So sparks are coming in here, and that's bad when we're Viking, because Viking's going to be throwing out 2 sparks every turn now. And we don't want it to hit this one. There's a chance, I forgot about the movement arrows, I might have shifted this one away, that might have been better. There's a chance that this is going to go bad. Whenever you see 2 sparks around, it's no good. 2 sparks are together on a partition are really dangerous in Remaster, and 2.0 in particular. Sparks are so much more dangerous now. The SMCs are much harder. There was an emphasis on first version of completing the countermeasures. You could, if you wanted to, just ignore them, just maintain the black tokens. That was kind of like the idea of the game, that these were bonuses, if you like, and it was supposed to be really challenging. And the remaster is a lot more challenging because of the way Guardians and Sparks work, but we'll see that shortly, particularly on 2.0. Okay. So Dreams of Salvation is particularly nasty. Everything's going here on the red, and there's already a bunch here, so I probably should have dealt with them. Right, Intel phase, packet tokens go back on the network. We're going to place them in a random location. Put red 6. Okay, so this one's going in the middle. Okay, whenever you want to select a random partition, just roll the dice. Okay, let's restock the Hack Shack. We've got Pied Piper, Adrenaline Surge, Night Elm Ship, and Read Request Interrupt. A lot of blue here. Okay, let's see where our 2 sparks go. They're going to go on red, but whereabouts? So the first one goes in partition number 4. Now Viking is particularly nasty because he will want to clump up, but there's already a spark here, so it's going to sit there. The next ones could form a Guardian unless we roll 5 or 3. Anything else is going to... Oh no, a 6 will be okay as well. But yeah, 2 or 4, a Guardian is going to come up. It's a 3. Alright, we've got away with it. But not for much longer, I feel. Alright, let's have a look at our hand, what we're going to do. I don't want to step in here, by the way. There's a spark trap here. That would put a Guardian there straight away. This one is a tag team. So that would switch out Lako and we'd put the other purple. So if you're playing red, it'll be the other red. If you're playing blue, the other blue, and so on. For us, we're playing purple, so it would be Lako swaps out, Stans comes in. So that's tag team. Obviously, we're in silver now, so different effects. So during silver, the exploit that we just placed is worth only 2 wild, but it would be good to go get there. This one's called a vulnerability. It would have been good to get that one up in copper because it would have added a card to the Hack Shack or the upgrade area, so there'll be 5 cards there instead of 4. This one's called a lighthouse. This basically makes an installation act as if it were on any adjacent partition. Kind of the effect of your installation is spread out. Whereas we've got interference up here, prevents the placing of sparks when they spawn. And then this one here, this one's a password. This one basically lets you treat partitions as if they contain data nodes. So they kind of fill in gaps in pathways. They help you move around the network. Right, so there's a whole bunch of variability and variety here. Right, let's get back to it. Now my focus is going to be on trying to keep these sparks from forming Guardians, because if I don't, I lose the game. And that's a priority over completing this. But if we can do both, then that's a bonus. Let's start. We'll get rid of Bypass and we'll take Adrenaline Surge. The biggest danger when I'm looking at this server are 2 Guardians adjacent to each other. If 2 Guardians adjacent to each other get hit, then that effectively immediately ends the game. So I'm focused on partition number 3. I don't like those being there. Let's think about some infrastructure. I might take a little bit of a risk first. Let's use data shift for its 2 movement. And remember, pathways I can move around on for free, so I'm going to use my 2 movement to initiate a move. Let's go here and pick up this data node. And I'm here. I'm going to go down to this partition. That's going to cost 1 of my 2 movement and drop this here. And this port is part of the network, so I can move here and basically teleport anywhere I wish. So that's also good. I'd like to have picked up another one, but if I pick up another one, then I haven't got enough movement, I don't think. Let's think. If I end here, I'll pick up this thing. That's also good. So, because I got infinite movement basically along this pathway, I can rearrange all this stuff however I want. So I'm going to bring these with me. Why not? Then I'm going to keep moving back. I've got 1 movement left, remember. I'm going to pick up this data node. And then I'm going to use that second movement to move in here. All the way. I've got no movement left. So I can't move in here now because that's cost me a movement point and I haven't got any movement. I have to stay on this network. I can't even ping somewhere because even that's going to cost me, it's going to cost me movement to move into a partition without a data node. So I'm going to drop in here, end my movement here, pick up this exploit, which is now valuable. Okay, that's that card done. I was tempted to swap out for Read Request Intercept. I really like this ability. Sometimes this can be useful. As it goes, I want to install or upload some green contaminants now. So I'm going to use Adrenaline Surge, with this as 3 greens. Also, when used as part of an upload an additional one. So I'm going to upload 2 greens here. So now I'm good. Got 3 greens. I have to get in here. So I'm going to use Trickery Master as a wild. I'm going to move, I'm using this blue, I'm going to move in here with this one blue. Cool. But now I'm on a pathway. So if I wanted to, I could bring all this stuff in here. I'm going to bring in these reds. Just those reds. And I'm actually going to push these 3 greens up here to safety, I think. Yeah. Okay, this is my move. I'm just contemplating whether I leave this yellow here. It doesn't matter. If I've got to move, I've got to move. I might as well just do that. Okay, now I want to infect. It's 2 versus 2 right now. I've got this card Sabotage, so that's my infect action. I played a red command, in fact 2, with 2. But I'm also going to throw this in, but remember this is only worth 2 now. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 versus 2. 6 versus 2. Six versus 2 should be good. I've got 12, they've got 6, bang, right, we've gotten rid of those. Awesome. We've cleared out petition number 3, that's what I was interested in doing. Danger is kind of gone for the moment. Okay, let's restart the Hack Shack. Next turn, we'll draw 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've not used Leiko's ability yet, but I might be doing that soon. Okay, so 2 sparks. First one goes to petition number 6. There's no sparks here, so it's looking for the highest partition with a spark on it, which is adjacent, which is number 5. That's going up here. Next, number 3. Oh, no sparks here. The highest adjacent is number 4, so it's going here. We got a guardian on partition number 4. All right, now it's danger. Now, what's different? If I roll a 4 now and this sparks, there's none of this. In first edition, you had to kind of place sparks up or down the network. Now it's really simple. All you do is you place a spark on every adjacent partition. So if a spark would be placed on a guardian, we would instead place sparks here, here, and here, which is going to create another guardian here. Now you can see then 2 guardians next to each other creates an infinite chain of explosions, because if this sparks, it would place one here, which would place one here, which would place one here, bounce back until all the sparks are gone. Okay, so 2 guardians next to each other is a potential game-winning situation, because if one of them sparks, bang. And that's why having 2 partitions with 2 sparks is dangerous, because if during a spark roll, during gold, we're going to have to place 3 down, right? So if one gets placed here, creates a guardian, one gets here, creates a guardian. The third one could then spark, and then that would blow the game up, and it's all out of your hands. Okay, so really dangerous during gold. You've got to watch where your sparks are. Okay, we're close to the end, and I need to do something about that. And I need to get that sorted out as well. So let's get rid of data scan and get read request intercept. That's step 1. Now I don't really need blue at the moment. Not that I think I need. I don't need green at the moment. So I'm tempted to do read request intercept and put these 3 cards on the bottom of my deck. Let's do that and draw 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I've gotten self-modifying hitcher, decrypt and diversion. So I've got my yellow. Do I need my yellow? I want to defeat that guardian. There aren't any great cards for it up here. I think what I'll do then, I'll use Decrypt for its 2 movement. I'm going to save myself having to move, and I'm going to bring these 3 with me. And I'm going to step in here. In fact, I might do it differently. I've got 2 movement. I'm starting here. So movement 1 and 1 is I'm going to move those up there. Movement number 2, I'm going to pick. Sorry, that doesn't cost anything. It's on the pathway. Movement number 1, I'm going to pick this up and move this over here. Right, that's my first movement. Then I'm going to shuffle these back here. Then I'm going to shuffle these back here. I do have 1 movement left, but I don't want to use it. That's all I want to do. Just pick up and move that over here. Yep. Okay, then I want to initiate an infect action. We're going to try and kill that guardian. So we've got emit EMP for 2 red. It says when this card is used to initiate an infect and succeed, delete all sparks from 1 partition adjacent. So I'm looking to get rid of those as well. So we've got 2 red, 3 red, and then I'm going to use 4, and those 3 wild, 5 red, 6, 7, 7 red. That counts as 4, so it's 7 versus 4. Okay, 7 versus 4. 4 plus 2 is 6, 7 plus 6 is 13. We win. Delete the guardian. Whew. And we delete those because of emit MP. Bang. We've used all our cards, but we've done a great job in clearing up this network for now. Okay, let's redraw. So now we've got the green we need, and possibly a little bit of tidying up to do. All right. Restock the hatch shack. Roll for sparks. So 2 more coming in. Remember, Dreams of Salvation says it has to be red. First one goes on number 2, which is here, which blows this up. Places a guardian. Guardians delete everything on that petition, including packets. So that goes. Second roll. Number 1. Number 1 has no sparks, but there aren't any adjacent. That's just staying there. Okay, Viking's done his thing. All right, so we did a nice job clearing that up. Now we can pretty much decide what we want to do. We've got hologram up there. I think I'm just going to toss Black Hat out of the game. Play with this, and this is mine. I might just leave that there for now, but I am tempted to move things back here. I've got to build my neural hub for this, either on Salvation or next to Salvation. This might not be a bad spot because then I can pick up this packet. So I might use Memory Steal for a blue. My pathway's working really well for me, so I don't think I need Piper. Let's use Memory Steal. Let's come around here. I'm on a pathway here, right? So I can bring everything over. I've still got 1 movement left, so I could even use that 1 movement to bring this with me. And plop it somewhere else. like here. With the path we've reformed, I can move all the way back. Pick up this chain, which is a vulnerability. Add a card to the hack shack, so I'll spend it straight away. And it does reset to 5 now instead of 4. So I'm going to put this up here to remind me. Grub duality, that's quite cool. I don't think I can use it. I can't install here yet. Now I want to install my neural hub because there's a spark here. I need to get rid of that spark first. So let's do an infect action. I've got 2 viruses. I'm going to add the 2 wild from here. So that gives me 4. 4 versus 1. Let's see what happens. We got 8. They got 2. Okay, we get rid of that spark. Great. Job done. I did have this one, but I don't need to use it. After any infect, add 2. We don't need it. Instead, and I can use these as 3 wild, but 2 green will be fine. Red's not helping me. I'm probably not going to use that for anything. No, let's do an install action. So we replace these 3 greens with a green square. That's my neural hub. That's my objection for Dreams of Salvation. We're all good. Okay, so we've got success. We have successfully accomplished our objective. Remove a neural hub from the network. So that goes. Add a port or a neural hub. So blue square or green square anywhere on the network. You can stick it right back. But we have to add a spark on every partition adjacent to it. So wherever we choose to put it is going to get sparked. I kind of like the idea of a port because you can ping between them. Just wonder if there's anywhere. So if we put it here, for example, that would only put 2 sparks down. This one would put 2 sparks down, but then that's going to create a guardian. I might just place it as a port down here. It's a tough one, but that little bit of intel does help me. Okay, and then sparks every partition adjacent, so 1 here and 1 here. Viking's effect only happens when it's spawning, not when countermeasures are spawning. Okay, so these don't shift about. All right, success. Now we do the movement arrow. So red down, so 1 down to 6, yellow down. So we're looking at the highest. So 6, 5 down to 4. Yeah, that put that one out of reach. We needed to get over there. Red down again. So 6 down to 5, which is nasty because now that one's in a bad place. And then purple up. There aren't any sparks on purple, so that arrow does nothing. Cool. Right. Silver completed. Let's reshuffle up the hack shack. Remember, we're placing 5 now. Hack shack's 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, red and yellow are strong. Alright, Deception Backlash. Clear every partition 4 and 5. During end of turn, sparks on my home server are going to go down. And then we add 1 to our access point. So sparks are going here. Now 2.0 says every spark placed during spark spawning. There's only 2 on Viking, so it's not too bad. Not too bad, but it's not 3. It's not that risk of insta-death. Sparks placed during gold are placed as flares. All right, so they're going to come in on the white side. And they gobble up your little tokens. They gobble up your contaminants. Okay. Intel phase. Deception backlash, clear every... Yeah, now I just did a quick double check on this, and it's actually changed in the remaster. It's not partitions 4 and 5, it's partitions 1 and 2. So I might just... Yeah, I've got to clear partitions 1 and 2. I might just switch that back for a neural hub, actually. Yeah, we'll see how this works out. Okay, Intel phase. So yeah, clear partitions 1 and 2. We got a Guardian here. That's going to cause a problem. They look good. There's a couple up here that might be a problem. I'm going to work our way over here. Alright, let's get the packets back on the network. So we give those a shuffle. And roll the dice. The first one is going purple 2. That's a trap. Okay, next one. My server, partition 5, which is where I'm standing. That's the vulnerability that'll let me search the upgrade deck for any card I wish. And the last one, red 3. That's our exploit, and in gold, that's only worth 1. It's only worth 1 wild now. Okay, new sparks. I've already restocked the Hack Shack. Now remember, we're placing 2, both to the same server, but they're coming in as flares on their white side. It's green 2 we didn't want to see. That's a firewall created. So these go. We've got a firewall coming in which empties the partition. That packet goes. Ouch. Alright, that's made our job doubly hard. Second one, partition number 3. Alright, that's where it is. There's a spark here already, so that's staying where it is. Right, this is a problem. That is a problem. So my focus should be on creating a neural hub. I've got to do that. There's one down here. Yeah, I need to create a green square. Man. Let's use... I've got this one. I don't think that's good. I'm going to use read request intercept. I'm going to toss 2 other cards. Let's keep black hats. Let's get rid of these 3. So read request intercept says place this card and up to 2 others on the bottom of my deck. So we'll put those on the bottom, redraw 3, and we get decrypt adrenaline surge, overwrite interrupt. So actually I could do it this way. So adrenaline surge plus black cat for 3 green. Adrenaline surge when used as an upload an additional. So I can upload 2 greens. I've finished an action here. So I get this packet token. Yeah. I need that card. I need to get rid of this. I'm going to be a bit cheeky here and just use my focus. I don't like it. I don't like it, but I'm going to use my focus to shift twice. I'm going to shift these 2 in here. I'm going to save this. Then I'm going to use encrypt for 2 move. I'm going to move around here. Pick up. In fact, I'll move all the way around here. Pick up this. Right, 1 move. And then 2 move. Drop that there. Now I've built and restructured my pathway. I'm just going to run up here, grab those, pop down here. Do I want to keep this here? I might just move that up here. Yeah, that's all my movement. Save this card, draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Mark is staying where it is. Let's roll for sparks. Oh, which servers are going to hit? Blue. I didn't want to see blue. Blue. So I didn't want to see any of them. Yellow might have been okay. Blue 6 is going to put one here. And then the second one is a 2. And I didn't want to see that. I did not want to see that. Ouch. That's going to create a firewall here. Empty that partition so that trap goes. Now this has made things very difficult. I've got another firewall. Wow, what a puzzle. This is a puzzle. I don't think I can do this. Oh, do you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put end of turn step, add 1 spark to your access point. Everything moves down, there weren't any here. So yeah, that needed to go on. That needs to go on there. Okay, let's stick to the plan. Step 1 is get rid of this. This is the easy target, and I can do that with an infect action. I do want to buy a reset spark. I might just do that. 1, 2, 3. Let's do that. We'll toss this. It doesn't matter what we get rid of at this stage. This is a card I'm saving. I think I'm going to put self-modifying inhibitor back in and grab sidekick. Use that 1 wild as a red by sidekick. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. So at the moment it's 4 versus 4. I've got a potential +2. 6 versus 4. I'm not that happy with it. I'm going to add 2 more. I want to make sure. This is the thing about infect actions. If the dice don't go your way, it can feel a little bit of frustration. So you mitigate it. You add more in. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 versus 4. They've got 5 plus 4. They've got 9. I've got 10. It did work out, and I had this cushion as well. So we did delete the Guardian. Excellent. Okay, those are spent. We're not going to use this card, so that's going to go. But the cushion was there if we needed it. Reset spark I want to save, and now I've got memory steel, which again I'm going to have to burn. I'm going to use it for its 1 wild. And move. And I'm going to move. I'm just going to plop those there. I'm going to move here with this yellow. I might just I might just leave those reds up here. I think I'm just going to have to abandon this. I don't think there's any way I'm going to manage that. Let's focus on green. Okay, we've saved 1 card. We draw back up. There's no green in there. End of turn step. This moves down. This adds in. So this looks good, this looks good, this looks good. And then we've got a firewall and a firewall. There's no way I can get both. Refresh. Roll for sparks. Right, let's see what this does. The partition I'm on, number 3. Ow. That's bad news. That's another firewall. Oh my goodness. Right, if that sparks now, it's game over. So let's roll. We don't want a 2 or a 3. It's a 4, which comes in here. That's another firewall, which removes everything. Oh my goodness, this has gone horribly wrong. We got one guardian left, and we've got to do something about this. Oh, Viking, you're mean. We do have our vulnerability, which means we can go to the whole deck. Can we? Can we? I'm intrigued. Data shift first. That comes in, we're going to get read request intercept. I want it for its wild. So I can play Trickery Master now and Diversion for 1 wild plus any 3 commands for another wild. That's 2 wilds. Let's start there. We've got Leiko Mori's special ability. As an action, spend 2 wilds to remove a contaminant from your server and then place a contaminant on that server. It could be anything. Then I'm going to use read request intercept. I've got to install, so I'm going to use this wild to turn that into a neural hub. Now, I could use Console Cowboy at this point. I've got a couple of options here. I've got this, which means I can buy from the Hack Shack, and I can buy any card. Let's throw this in. Now, I'm thinking of Iteration or Console Cowboy. They're both out there. This gets to reshuffle. So here's my options. If I buy Iteration, reveal along with another card to do that execute effect. So I could use Reset Spark twice. I could use it to delete this, then move down here, use Iteration, delete again. But that means I need to use all 4 of these cards to pay for it. And Reset Spark still won't solve the problem because it'll leave a spark here and a spark there. I like it though. The other option is to buy Console Cowboy, which deletes a Guardian and doesn't leave a spark behind. But that would cost me 3 wild to buy. Or Iteration. I think Iteration is probably the least risky. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm spending this. I'm going to use read request intercept as blue, yellow, then this one as red, green. Right, one of each color. I have to throw one of them away. I'm going to throw away read request intercepts. We'll buy Iteration. We shuffle up this deck. That's cool. So all those cards that we recycled earlier, they're going to potentially come back. But this is what that vulnerability does. This packet, remember? I really like it. And it means the whole deck is accessible to you. It doesn't matter how thick that deck is. You always know that some card, like Console Cowboy or Iteration, some of these good cards, even if they're stuck on the bottom, this vulnerability means you can get to them. It's a lovely little exploit. Okay, oh, that one goes back in here. Okay, now let's think about it. Right, we've got a ghost. We're at a neural hub. We've got a ghost token. This new expansion introduces a ghost token, and it really helps because people sometimes struggle with this. But when you're standing at a neural hub, you can take your ghost token, there'll be one for each profile, and you can place it on the partition that you want to pretend you're on. So let's pretend I'm on this one. Then I will use Iteration, reveal during your turn, along with another card from your hand to perform that other card's execute effect. So we'll reveal Reset Spark, delete the Guardian and add a spark. So this is going to go add a spark. and then at the end of your action, you take this back. Okay, and it's like your avatar's then popped back. Now, we still got these cards. That was its reveal effect. We revealed. Now I'm going to use iteration for its commands. So discard, and we're going to move 1. I've got 3, haven't I? Yeah, 1 here. Let's pick up these 2. That's 1. I'm going to pop over here. That's 2. Got 1 move left. I think I'm just going to stay here. Yeah. Now I've ended my turn with a packet, which I pick up. I've still got reset spark. So this one is the tag team effect. So we discard it. I'm no longer Leiko. I am now Stans. Okay. So Stans comes with his ability, which is to use rootkits. I don't think I'm going to need it, but Rupert's come in. He said, "Thanks, Leiko. You've done your thing." Tag team out. Rupert stands in, and he's going to take the glory because we're now going to use our ghost. We're on a neural hub again. We're going to ghost over here. We're going to now use reset spark. So we'll delete that. Place a spark. Ghost pops out, and we've run out of cards, unfortunately. But we have finished the countermeasure. So end of turn step. We'll shuffle this up. These going to go. These all move down because of deception backlash. A new one goes in. Then SMC revenge. So this one's going to delete this one, destroying our wonderful pathway that we created. So we did lead them. They did their thing. They did hurt us ultimately. Yeah, and we've also got a battle going on here. So our 2 reds versus their 2 blacks. It's just on the die roll. 5 versus 5. We lose 1. Now they've got a +1. Go again. 3 versus 1. We lose again. Ouch. And that's it. That's not pretty. Okay. See what happens then. We have failed. So a failure says add a spark to the access point to every server that has no yellow installation. So there's going to be 5 sparks coming on here. They are sparks, not flares. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we got 1 here, which is going to create a new firewall. Ouch. Next, add 1 spark to every partition 1 and 2 that has a spark or guardian on it. So we add a spark here, partitions 1 and 2. This is the only one. Oh, there's one here as well. So yep, up there gets another one. 1 and 2. This one's clear. This one's clear. This one's clear. Yeah. So it wasn't too bad, but we're not quite over yet. One additional change to this is we have to remove an installation from the network. Which one do we want to remove? I'm going to get rid of this port. Okay, now it's the movement arrows. So blue up. Everything on 2 goes to 3. That creates a guardian. Green up. Okay, so another rule change. They will skip over partitions that contain guardians. So 1's empty, 2 is going to skip up over 3 to 4, and the same with this one. Skip up over 4. All right, yellow down. So 6 is going to go down to 5. And then lastly, red down. 6 down to 5. Okay, we have survived just. Right, purge the hack shack. There's a shuffle, they go on the bottom. Wow. So that's gold. We now move into the final climax, which is Mother's Ghost. Wow. This is it then, folks. This is the ultimate challenge. We're going to face that final boss, and it's going to cause us a problem because this is Mother's Ghost. Mother's Ghost is going to create a tsunami. We were kind of one card short. We needed to get off this partition. We didn't, so it kind of blew our plans a little bit. But here we go. This is the final countermeasure. This is the final challenge, and this is an immediate one. As soon as we complete the goal, which is to defeat Mother's Ghost, the game's over. We flip it over and we'll have success. Game over. All right, so there's no counting scores, there's no pushing on to the final cycle. You know, if you do it on turn one, that's it, you finish on turn one. That's an immediate victory. If you don't play with Mother's Ghost, if you're not using 2.0, then it'll play out as before. You play through your 3 cycles, you're trying to get the minimum required number of installations on the network, which for us would be 3. I think Viking was 3, so it's the number of stars on here minus 1 right now, so 3. We've only got 2, so we would have lost the game as it goes because we lost that port right at the end. We had the 3 we needed, but we lost that one. That was a final nail in the coffin from losing that final countermeasure. All right, what about this tsunami? We're starting the new cycle. We're moving into the intel phase. Mother's Ghost is coming. She's going to land on our partition. She's going to smash into here, kick everything out, and then everything out of every adjacent partition. So we've lost our neural hub. We were relying on that neural hub. Mother's Ghost acts like a firewall here. We can't come in here, and every adjacent partition is also a firewall. We can't come in here. As soon as we come in here, we get pinged out. So this is why we needed a neural hub. This is why, if we'd have moved away, our neural hub would have survived, and we would have the tools we need to take down Mother's Ghost. As it goes, our challenge now is to recreate this neural hub and try and take down Mother's Ghost, and then that's immediate victory. That's the end of the game. All right, that's it. That's all we need to know. We've got 2 sparks coming out during each new spark step. Rupert's in to save the day, but where does he get pinged to? Let's check. Right, we got lucky. That's the same server we're on, partition number 3. So we're actually starting here with this Guardian. What about these packets? We need to mix those up and redeploy those. You can do this anytime during the intel phase. So now is a good time. Let's see where the first one goes. Purple 1. That's the tag team. Red 6. A trap. Blue 6. That's interference. That will let us interfere with the spark. Next, purple 3. That's the vulnerability. That lets us search the hack shack. And then lastly, blue 2. Okay, another trap. Let's restock the hack shack. 1, 2, 3. Remember, hack shack's up to 5 now. 4, 5. Nothing great there. I was looking for green. Right, let's place those sparks. Now, obviously, this could blow things up. Let's see what happens. Yellow. Yellow 4 gets a flare. That's okay. The next one. Yellow 6. 6 goes to 5. Okay, we're still okay. What I'm hoping to do is knock this out. Knock Mother out quickly. We've got Adrenaline Surge. So, let's see. We can't upload here. There's a guardian here. The only real safe place is here. There's a trap here now. We've got to get a neural hub. And we could play this and move. We could move Trickery Master for 1 blue. We could move, say, here. I've got a few options here. I'm not a Laco anymore, so I can't use 2 wilds for anything. But what I could do is use Sabotage, trade for Duality, play Duality, which allows me to flip a Contaminant. I'm taking this, by the way. I should have taken that. Then I've got 2 greens here. I've got 2 wilds here, so I could make one of them green, I suppose. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I'll upload a green with Adrenaline Surge. I'll do that twice, so that's 2 green. I'll save this card, discard and redraw. No, so I wasn't able to do it in one go. So we've got to survive another spark roll. Let's see what happens. So Mother's Ghost is sitting here strong. Let's restock the Hack Shack and I hope we get something good. Oh, Project Consciousness. This is good. This is good. Oh wow, this could even save me. Oh, it's too late actually. It's too late. Yeah. Right. This lets you teleport. So I could have saved myself all that effort if this had come up before, because I could have just moved in here, brought this neural hub over. As it goes, it came 1 turn too late. Right, Sparks, yellow 5. Yellow 5 gets a firewall. Okay, it comes down to this roll. This could be bad. Oh no, I've got 1 more left. I've got 1 more left. I'm still okay. It's yellow 1. So actually, that's going here. Alright, we've got away with it. We've got another turn to try and do this. I need to move in here. And I think this will do it. I think this will do it. We're going to move in here. 1, 2. We're still not next to this. We're going to use Focus and install our neural hub. We're going to ghost over here, which we can do. And we've got the cards we need because we've got Reset Spark to delete a Guardian or Firewall from our partition. She's gone. We win the game. What a battle. It could have easily gone wrong. We've got 2 firewalls next to each other. If this roll, there's a 1 in 6 chance this could have gone wrong. But if this has come up a 5 again, that would have placed a spark here, which would have set off an infinite loop. And we would have lost. So it was close, but we can claim victory. Wow. That's it then. That's the demo. And what a climax. I mean, this is what I'm really pleased about. If you're allowed to say it, I enjoy playing my own design. This is just, I made the game I wanted to play, and I really enjoy playing it. The puzzle, the challenge, the different layers and trying to puzzle things out in different ways, and the sandboxy style of the game, I still really enjoy it. I mean, every now and again when I'm developing, I get a little tired, and then you take a break and you come back to it and you discover why you create the game and why you love the game you create. And you should love the game you create. There it is then. Be sure as soon as I get news on whether this thing is in production, or when this thing's in production, I'll be letting you know. But for now, sit tight. And yeah, we're at the publisher's mercy. But I can't wait for you guys to start playing this again. Thanks for watching. See you next time.